You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB Financial. This is November the 13th, 2017. With you today is myself, Carl, and the always wonderful, fairly animated Joel.
What's up, Carl?
It is going well. How is your preparation for the move out west coming? East. You're going east.
I'm going east, yeah.
You were definitely going east.
I'm about as far west as you can get in Canada. So, going even more west, I would hit water.
You could move to Victoria. Like, you're not, but if you wanted to
That'd
go
be
west.
south.
It's like a little west, isn't it?
It might be, but not very much. I could go to Tofino.
There you go.
No one wants to live in Tofino. You just only want to, like, vacation.
Yeah, you visit and then you leave before you have to spend all that money living in Tofino.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going. We're 13 days.
That's it.
That's it. We're less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
So
this is like you're almost done. Two more fourth lines this week, next week, and then you're done in Nanaimo?
Yeah, and next week will be the last one in Nanaimo. You'll get one of me in Vancouver.
Ooh.
Because we're spending a week in Vancouver, and then Calgary.
And then you're here. What a magical time.
Yeah.
I had the great pleasure of, I want to call it a pleasure. It wasn't actually. The Colorado Avalanche Hockey Club, as we talked about last week, and we won't belabor the trade talk. If you want to know my thoughts on the trade from last week, go back and listen to it. Matt Duchene got traded, and they've played 2 games since then, both against the Ottawa Senators. So I got to see firsthand, 1, how Matt Duchene fit in with the Senators, and 2, how Samuel Girard fit in with the Avalanche. And I was both excited and disappointed on both counts. Girard looks fantastic. I was ecstatic through the first, what was it? Game and a half. I was like, man, this guy is great. Matt Duchene is invisible. I can barely tell he's on the ice. The only times he was on there was when he was getting tossed out of a face-off. And, I know that he is a good face-off man, so I think it was just a little bit of nerves. So I was like, okay, he's nervous. That's fine. You're facing against your old team, the team you asked to leave. And then he kind of went off in the second half of that game.
Did he score a goal?
He did not. I think he actually was held pointless. But he just went the Matt Duchene that I always wait to see. It's like, I don't know why it took him a game and a half. Maybe he just wasn't comfortable working with new teammates, whatever, but he was an offensive threat in the second half of that game. And I missed it. I don't think it changed anything for me, though. It didn't make me feel happier about that trade for the Senators. All it did was make me think, yeah, Matt Duchene's good. We knew that already.
If he didn't get on the score sheet, though, I wouldn't be that worried about it. Yeah, sure, maybe he looked good, but you should probably score a goal. I don't think you can say he went off. That is a statement that can't be said unless there are being points added to the score sheet.
Okay,
so
I guess he was a presence. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's probably just a bigger ice. I wouldn't wait till he gets in. Wait till he gets ice on North American ice.
It's the exact same ice.
I didn't watch those games. It was at weird times. I didn't care.
Yeah, it was you West Coast people. It was at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Either way,
hockey shouldn't be watched at that time.
It greatly distracted me from doing homework, so I was fine with it. Girard looked great, especially on the power play. He was paired with Tyson Barrie, which at first I was concerned because they're very similar players. I was like, I don't like that. I want some difference on the blue line, but they work really well together after already, just 2 games together. And I really liked the puck movement that he gave us. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for more Samuel Girard. Matt Duchene in the past, gone. I'm all Girard all the time.
Oh, there you go. Well, let's close the book on that trade. Colorado Avalanche win. You heard it here first. Carl's all in. It's over. So does that mean that you are off the Carolina Hurricanes wagon?
No, I've got the game on right now.
That must be sad. How do you feel cheering for two terrible teams?
Here's the thing, Joel. Okay, let's get into this. Carolina Hurricanes.
Terrible. The terrible Carolina Hurricanes.
No. Okay, Joel, here's the thing. You've obviously looked at the standings and seen where Carolina's slotting in there.
Mm-hmm.
They are currently sitting at 16 points, dead last in the Metro Division.
Yeah.
Now, certainly, that's nothing to get excited about. You're not like, oh, okay, good. However, the pace they're at puts them at about, 85, 86 points? Again, not enough for a playoff spot. However, and it's something that I've never had to try to deal with, is the solace that I can take in that actually, watching the games, they're not incompetent. They've had some great opponents. And the problem with it is that if you look at the fancy stats, and I know you are not a fancy stats guy, and the fact that what I'm about to tell you, you will probably scoff at. And I'm ready for it. Let's get into this. The Hurricanes have looked great on the fancy stat sheet. Mm-hmm. They've been doing everything that they should be doing to win hockey games.
But they don't.
And that is the problem. And you know what? The goal is to go out and win games. So certainly, I'm not going to watch a game and be like, man, they had a lot of shot attempts. That's not what I'm there for. There is one problem that the Hurricanes have. And I noticed it first off when they played the Avalanche. The Avalanche gave up 60 shots to the Hurricanes. The Avs won that game.
They gave up 60 shots or 60 shot attempts?
60 shots on net.
So that's like 85 to 90 shots on shot attempts.
There's a hat trick in this game. There's hats on the ice right now. Who got it? Teuvo Teravainen, first career hat trick. Look at him go.
Don't get too excited. They're playing Dallas.
Yeah, Ben Bishop. Speaking of people who are struggling. But there was a game last year. I don't know if you remember. There was a game last year where the Leafs had 100 shot attempts against the Avs and lost. Do you remember that game?
I blocked it out of my memory.
Okay. That's fair. You're allowed to do that. So I look at games like that and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. The problem with the Hurricanes, looking at that game, I was like, man, how did that even happen? What happened was they're taking a lot of shots from the outside. The Hurricanes are, you're putting shots on net, but it matters where you put a shot on. And a lot of there's ways that you can track it, but a lot of people, they look at the stat sheet and they're like, yeah, shot attempts. But if you take 60 shot attempts from the blue line or you manage to get a shot on net from center ice, those count as equal. And so to me, their problem is that they need to drive the net a little more. Get to the dirty areas, Joel.
I think their problem is that they have 6 wins in 15 games.
Is that a problem?
That's a major problem. I don't care what any stats, fancy or non-fancy. If you win 6 games out of every 15, not good.
What if they have 4 loser points?
That just makes that's even worse than just having to be so being 6, 5, and 4 is worse than being 6 and 9. Because you know what 6, 5, and 4 gets you? 3 spots out of the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's not worse than being 6 and 9. It's better
it's absolutely worse because
you literally get those points. How can you say?
Because I'd rather be 6 and 9 and get a higher draft pick if I'm not going to make the playoffs. This is
not a team that needs more draft picks.
Team's not making the playoffs though either, so you might as well be last. They're not even going to be fighting for a playoff spot. They are going to be out of the playoffs.
No. Come, Joel. No, Joel, come.
They have 6 wins.
They're 4
in 15
points.
Games
They're 4 points out of the playoffs right now. Like,
yeah, but they're
you cannot. This is way too early for you to get anywhere close. At the end of this game tonight, if this score holds, the Carolina Hurricanes will have a positive goal differential on the year. To say that a team with a positive goal differential has zero shot at making the playoffs is crazy.
They're not gonna. You know what? See, the positive goal differential is fine, but saying that a team that has 6 wins in 15 games has no shot at the playoffs isn't crazy.
No, that is 100%. Like, they are in those games. The fact that they've had 4 games go to overtime that they lost speaks to the fact that they're playing in tight games that can very easily go one way or the other. Sure, it has not been a great start to my Carolina Hurricanes fandom, but they are turning this around. And I think, I knew going into it, they start the year with this super terrible road trip. And then they come home and they can try to get things together. I'm fine with it. They got off to a cold start. They do every year. They're turning it around. I have great confidence.
Carl, that would be great if their home record wasn't significantly worse than their road record.
Yeah, I am well aware of that fact, but you get into rhythms, and I'm fine with the fact that their rhythm
is losing? You're fine with that fact?
No, you go on this road trip, it messes with your rhythm, and starts to mess with things, and you get into that. So they're turning it around. I'm very okay with where things are going here, Joel.
But they have to jump over so many teams that aren't going to be that they're like there's every team above them in the standings is better than them. And
that is not true.
Okay, who are they better than?
They are better than the Detroit Red Wings. They are better than the Carey Priceless Montreal Canadiens.
Wait, is Detroit in their division?
You just said in the stand, so we're talking division?
Oh, I was looking at their division.
Okay, I was just looking at what they needed to get into the standings.
I'll give you Detroit.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I was just looking at they are the worst team in that division though.
It is a good division, and are they definitively better than any of those teams? No. Can I see them being better than some of those teams? Absolutely. Can I see them being better?
Wait.
Can I see them being better than both New York's and Philadelphia? 100%. Could I see New Jersey's ridiculous start cool off and they end up better than New Jersey? 100%.
Crazy. Yeah. I love how are they definitively better than any team? No. Are they definitively worse than every team? Yes.
No.
I can make statements like that too.
Yeah, but yours is mine is lukewarm. Yeah, sure. Are they better? Maybe, maybe not. But they're definitely not definitively worse. At the end of the year, this team will not be last in this division.
Currently, they are definitively worse. That is an actual fact.
Okay, well, here's the thing, Joel. In 9 minutes and 29 seconds, they will have tied the Philadelphia Flyers and technically have moved ahead of them in the standings because the Flyers have an extra game played even after this one. So they will be at 7 wins through 16 games. And I'm fine with this. By the time we're done this show, the people listening to this will be like, what is Joel talking about? The Hurricanes are not last in this division because they won't be.
I disagree. This team is here. So if they are, are you convinced they are a playoff team?
I am not 100% convinced. I know you love me and my percentages. I am a solid 65% certain that they are a playoff team.
That's pretty low for someone who's talking about how great they. Yeah. I was willing to. I was trying to figure out if we were going to put some sort of friendly wager on this, but you're not even close to being able to put a friendly wager on this.
I will 100% put a friendly wager on this.
Okay,
what are you thinking?
I don't know. I say that the Carolina Hurricanes will not make the playoffs.
I say that they will make the playoffs.
So what's it worth to you? You're the one. I'm definitive. I if we're making this friendly wager, I've already won. So whatever you want, let's put it on the table. You're the one who's a little more lukewarm. We'll figure out terms afterwards. We'll talk about this after.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's too much. I can't think while we're actually in the middle of recording to try that kind of stuff, but we'll come back with something. I have no problems putting something on the line here.
All right. Well, Joel, you know who else put things on the line? The fine folks over at ATB Financial. They put their reputation on the line for you every day because they care about you and they work hard at that. So, ATB Financial, if you head over to atb.com/listens, you will see the great things that they have happening over there, including their support of the Alberta Podcast Network. So thank you very much to them and all of you for listening. Joel,
I may have come up with something. We may need to figure this out because I don't know how we can do this, but I'm thinking something along the lines of including a Mike Commodore wig.
Yeah, but that's like, oh, sure, I'm fine with that. I literally did that for like an entire 8 months at one point. So
you wore a bright red afro for 8 months.
It was like whatever color my hair is.
I don't think it wasn't quite as big as what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But
we could do that. We could,
we have to figure if we can find one of these things.
I'm sure we can. Just look up like clown wig.
Yeah, it's true.
That's pretty much it.
I'm actually like, I'm interested in like how quick you were to that because like, I don't want to do anything that's associated to Mike Commodore.
Well, yes, I wouldn't be proud. Like, as long as, if it's the wig, then everyone's like, oh yeah, Carl's wearing this weird wig. Now, if it was like a I love Mike Commodore t-shirt, then that's a very different story.
Yeah, that's too much effort. We're not doing that.
And for a friend, that takes it from a friendly wager to like an unfriendly wager.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, well, we'll figure something out. But speaking of wagers, I lost one that you had no idea or say in that affects our show.
Yeah. Let's get into that right now. Without further ado, should we cue the pixie dust?
Yeah, cue the pixie dust. We pre-recorded something.
Joel, I have heard a rumor that you made a bet that impacts the show.
A friendly wager is more accurate.
Okay, tell me what's going on here.
Well, I don't know. It's been a while. At some point in time, myself and the fine folks at the Listening Party Pod made a friendly wager about a Leafs and LA Kings game.
And you lost.
Yeah. As the Leafs tend to do these days. So Rod is here, and I believe he's going to give us a couple minutes because, like, we like to bash the Kings and some of their players.
Yeah.
And so Rod won the right to talk about the Kings, talk highly about them, and we are not allowed to counteract that. We just have to let it happen.
So we just put it out there. Okay. So it's 2 minutes, like exactly 2 minutes?
It's 2 minutes, yeah. No more than 2 minutes.
I don't think I need 2 minutes.
So 120 seconds, Rod. We will give you that. However, what we will do is we're going to give you 120 Canadian seconds.
Oh. Well, that's less. That's like 6 American seconds.
It's exactly 94 American seconds. So I'm going to start the clock. I think nice. You should be able to see what we've got going on here.
I see your faces, yes.
Yeah, and while Carl's getting that going, because I am an honorable man, I will let Rod, I think you already know this, Rod, but like some of the guys that we hate most is Dustin Brown. He's one, so if you have good things to say about him, feel free, because it'll hurt us the most if you talk about him.
Yeah, well, I think specifically, I remember you had said something about if I won, I could come on the show and talk for 2 minutes, or 93 seconds, whatever, about why Dustin Brown is like the greatest player ever. And I was like, oh, all right. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I don't actually.
I think that was so verbiage. Yes.
It was so long ago that I don't remember. So you
blocked it out.
You basically can do whatever you want for the next 94 Canadian seconds.
I love it.
No, the 94 American seconds.
94 American seconds.
This is in honor of Rod.
My time been more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is we've got the clock here, Rod. So we will.
I'm looking at it.
We will stop you when it's over.
All right. I see it. Okay, here we go. All right. So basically, I think while I was preparing for this, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go read some stats. Because Dustin Brown is doing pretty good for himself right now. He's red hot, as they like to say. But I was like, you know what? I feel like that could change tomorrow. You know what I mean? Tomorrow he could just, hit a slump and that's the end of that. So, I want to touch the intangibles. You know what I mean? That's what I want to touch. And basically, one of the main reasons why I love Dustin Brown is because exactly the reason why Joel hates him. You know what I mean? Because he's the guy that if he's on the other team, you just can't stand him. You hate him. He's an instigator. You know what I mean? He gets in there, and he just pisses you off because some people call him dirty. I mean, he's a physical guy. You know what I mean? He's been playing in the NHL for who knows how many years now. You know what I mean? When you're a physical dude and you like knocking into guys, every now and then it's gonna get a little questionable. But yeah, and currently this season, I mean, he's been doing great. I mean, he's red hot, as I mentioned earlier. I think he's already hit like 8 goals or something. He's always up in the net, screening the goaltender, as you like to say. And I mean, another thing, he's also above Patrick Kane and Crosby in the standings. So I mean, those two are pretty good, and he's above them. So there's that.
Wow, you nailed it! Right.
Round of applause for Dustin Brown.
Right at the time.
Just rang it off the post there. For those who couldn't see, Carl was shaking his head angrily during that whole 94 seconds.
Yeah, that was the longest 94 seconds I've ever had to deal with on this show. But as per the deal, which I had zero input on what this bet was, I guess I will join Joel in honoring it. We will not give a rebuttal.
Oh, no, you guys are welcome to give it. I want to hear it, actually. I think it's only fair. That's fine. I don't think that was part of the bet. The part of the bet wasn't that you guys couldn't, argue with me. It was just I could talk for those 2 minutes or 94 Canadian seconds, and then you guys could do whatever you want. Yeah, go right ahead.
So, well, we actually are going to spend some time talking about the Kings, and I'm sure you'll get lots of our Dustin Brown feelings during that time.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I appreciate what you had to say. I thought Dustin Brown is too old, big, and slow to have intangibles. Like I didn't think those
are
existed.
His intangibles. He's old, big, and slow. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come
on now.
But it's okay. Is he still the captain? Is he Captain LA King still?
No, he is not Captain King. He is actually I don't even know if he's an alternate. No, yeah, I think he is an alternate. Last year he lost the captaincy to one Andrei Kopitar. You might have heard of him.
He's an actually good Los Angeles King hockey player. He's deserving of that.
Oh yeah, he is. That's another guy we love out here. But yeah, no, he is no longer the captain. And a lot of people were saying maybe because he wasn't going to be the captain last season, he was going to try to show what a big mistake that was, and put up big numbers last season. But everybody pretty much had a horrible season last season, including one Andrei Kopitar. But this year, a lot of people are saying because Daryl Sutter is gone, that's one of the main reasons why everybody seems to be doing so much better, which I think is a little unfair, especially Drew Doughty there. He's always like, oh yeah, it's so much fun now coming out here to play. And, and it's like, I mean, you're getting paid millions of dollars. I mean, it should just be fun all the time, but I guess that's not the case. But
I don't know. Daryl Sutter's he's like the Carl of coaches, just old grumpy man.
That's not true. I was gonna say I've got nothing for love for the Sutters and just all of them. They're from Alberta. I'm on Team Sutter. It's fine. Anyways, Rod, thanks for paying the bet. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me, guys.
You can find Rod and his lovely co-host Denise on the Listening Party podcast, which is everywhere you find podcasts.
That's right.
And Rod himself is at PodHeadRod, POD, HEADROD on the Twitters.
That's right.
Wait.
Yeah. Hello.
How else would you spell that?
I don't know.
I like that you spelled that all the way out, but like, how else would you spell that?
I just wanted to be clear so that when people
Okay.
go and they give Rod a follow for his hot LA Kings takes,
Yeah, that's right.
it's one of the many things that you have going for you, Rod. Just I don't want them to go follow somebody else.
Yeah, somebody that's into cannabis or anything like that. Yeah.
Or like maybe they went with like Podhead Rot.
Oh,
Like Pod Had Rod. These are all very different Twitter accounts, and we do not want anyone to follow them.
this is correct. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for having me. And I look forward to listening to this episode coming up. I'm excited.
All right, thanks, Rod.
All right, guys.
Can you like check with me next time you make a bet that includes me?
I thought I was going to win. So, yeah.
That the confidence you have in that makes me feel even better about this Hurricanes wager we have.
No, that's
Your track record's not looking good right now, Joel.
it's already won. Over. The Hurricanes will not make the playoffs.
Okay, but seriously, like, actually,
They actually won't make the playoffs.
I know you think that. So we're not even a quarter of the way into the season, and I'm not gonna. I'll try to steer away from a Hurricanes argument again, but they will be a game in hand and 2 points behind the Islanders for the second wild card. So statistically very likely that they will, the odds of them making the playoffs is very likely. It is very doable. We have some teams that are already putting themselves out of, certainly not mathematical contention this early, but like you look at them play, and as definitive as Joel is about the Hurricanes not making the playoffs, there's other teams that you can look at and say like, yeah, those guys, like, they're probably done. Are there any teams right now that you look at, and let's not mention the Hurricanes because I don't want to get into that can of worms again. Are there any teams right now that you look at and definitively say, like, they're done? Like, is there any teams that you're like, even if they, like, I don't see enough in them to turn it around, it's done?
Well, obviously, like, I think we can both agree that the Coyotes are done. We can scratch them off, right?
Yes, that is a fact.
And we don't even need to talk about why we believe that. I was actually like, I'm thinking about this.
I appreciate you thinking about the things I ask you.
How difficult, like, how late in the season has a team that has been last in a division made the playoffs? Now, I know that's tough to know because we went from 6 divisions to 4. So,
so we're looking like at these last, like, how many years have we had this system? Like, since the
3?
Yeah. So not a lot.
Yeah. So it's not a lot, but like, so the Coyotes are not making it, but like, how worried would you be if you were an Oilers fan?
I'd definitely be worried. That is a fact.
And Minnesota, a team that was supposed to be good, now currently sitting at the bottom of their division. I think there's 3 teams apart from the Hurricanes that I would write off.
Well, you mentioned the Wild.
I'm not writing them off yet.
The Oilers, only 6 wins in more games than the Hurricanes. So you've got to write them off if that's your logic. 6 wins.
No, my logic is 6 wins with a terrible team. Like,
well, if you
you
have 6
can't
wins with a good team, isn't that team actually terrible? Like, At what point into the season do you say this team keeps losing? Maybe they're just bad.
It might be. I'm not quite ready to write off the Oilers because of Connor McDavid. If you want to write off Connor McDavid and bet against him right now, you can. But I'm not ready to do that. It's like because here's the thing: who's the best player on the Hurricanes? Jeff Skinner. I'll bet against Jeff Skinner. I'm okay with that. But the Oilers are not in my write-off. I'm going to go Coyotes, Florida, Buffalo. I think they're too deep away to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp as you there. Mostly because for the same reason that you wrongly are against these teams. I don't look at against the Hurricanes being this team. Look at those teams. I'm like, this is about what I expected. I do not expect, Jack Eichel to turn it around and be able to take this Sabres team to the playoffs. I do not expect whoever you want to pick as the Panthers turn. Like, I don't expect Aaron Ekblad to be able to be the catalyst to turn this Panthers team around.
You were looking for Roberto Luongo there.
He's back. So maybe that is the missing piece. Maybe Bobby Lou. He's taking them.
Yeah. No, those are the three teams that I would write off. And then on the fence, well, I have four, but you're not letting me talk about the fourth.
You already did talk about the fourth.
So I got four then. Then I'm like, they're out. Ones that I would put on the fence of being ready to write. Like, none of these teams, so like these teams that I'm saying are on the fence, I'm assuming they don't make the playoffs, but I'm not willing to write them off yet. And that's where I would go Edmonton, Minnesota, Colorado. I think that's it.
I'm glad to be, honestly, I'm very glad to not be in the written off category. I'm glad to be in that next bunch.
If they're in this same spot as they are come middle of December, they'll be we can eliminate them.
If they're 1 point out of the playoffs in mid-December, you'll eliminate them.
No, if they're in the same position. Are they 1 point out of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Really? Man,
yeah.
I hate the loser point. Can we talk about how maybe we should just be talking about how that, because it's really, I don't know.
That's because the Leafs have no loser points. Like, you guys, you get to overtime and it's like, oh, okay, cool. We win or we lose.
Yeah, that was, everyone hated the Leafs last year because we had a ton of loser points.
And now none. And I think it's been proven, as much as statistics can prove things, that like the loser point is very random, right? Like, once you get to overtime, it's as coin flippish as humanly possible. There's some teams, the Avalanche are fantastic in the shootout. I have great confidence. There's not a lot that this team does great. Winning in a shootout is one of them.
It is interesting. I don't know if you caught any Oilers games this week. They went to overtime 3 times. And you take a guess on who played almost like the entire overtime period.
Connie.
Yeah. And take a guess on who plays the majority of the overtime periods for the Leafs.
Freddie Anderson.
Well, so I don't even know how to respond to you right now.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to, who's the best player, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that Erik Karlsson plays all of it for the Senators. Yeah. And they beat the Avalanche in overtime based on a great play by Erik Karlsson. So. Yeah.
So, no, I think. Yeah, the thing, and this is the thing, and this is what we talk about this every year, that the loser point makes the standings closer, and this is what Bettman wants, is that closer standings to longer in the season. Because if we didn't have the loser point, there would be teams. Well, look at it this way: again, Carolina, Boston, they each have 4 loser points. If they didn't have that and just lost, we're taught they're even that much farther out.
Right.
Arizona would have 4 points if they didn't have the loser point.
Right. If you were to sort by regulation overtime victories, then you have a lot of teams at the bottom already of each of these standings. So yeah, lots of things going on. But let's chat. I know we mentioned it when we chatted with Rod that we would get into the Kings season so far. The LA Kings are 11-4-2. And if you want to remove the loser point, they're 11-6.
Apparently that's our new thing.
We'll do that for, yeah, exactly. Now, the Kings lost 2 games in a row, lost against the Sharks. So maybe you could say, okay, they're done. Their hot streak's over. Because they started the year undefeated, right? They didn't lose for the first 11 games of the season, I think, something like that. So with the Kings being so good, like, obviously, Rod mentioned, Mr. Daryl Sutter leaving. And there's been a huge change in style from what the LA Kings had before. Daryl had like a very defensive, shut down, like old school mentality. That's why they got rid of him in Calgary, right? They wanted to move to this faster paced, different style of play, and he was just bringing in old guy after old guy. And they're like, Daryl, this isn't going to work. John Stevens is in there now, and they're playing a much faster, freer. The players are having fun again. Drew Doughty talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Is this LA Kings team for real? Because at the start of the year, no one thought that they would be anywhere close to what they are. What's happening, Joel?
I don't know. I think like they do have a lot of talented players. Like that is true. They have talented players it's like they have Kopitar, they have Doughty, they have like Jeff Carter has been sneaky good, hey? Like
I think everyone just assumed he wasn't anything anymore, and he is sneaky good is a great win, baby.
He just scores goals, and you're not upset about it, and so they have talent on this team, and they have other guys that I can't think of because I don't really watch this team. But like you go and you look at their team and you watch them play. I believe the Leafs have played them twice this year already.
Yeah, that would be correct.
And they have talented guys. Apparently Jeff Carter not sneaky good this year. Is he hurt? He must be hurt.
Yeah.
Because he's only played 6 games and he has 0 goals, so something's up with him.
Yeah, Jeffrey Carter is not. But when they've done this without him, so that's
so they get him going. He's good for 25, 30 goals, and so I don't know. I think this team has enough talent. I don't like this team. I wouldn't say like this isn't a team that's built for the future, obviously. We already know that. But can they keep this going, make a playoff push, even win a round or 2 this year? Probably, if they keep it together, they stay out of injuries. That's a big problem with an older team, is injuries.
Yeah, well, and with Carter already out, as you mentioned, that's a guy that, they can get him back. But and his injury was a freak injury. He got cut.
Oh, okay. Right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's not something where it's not like our friend Steven down in Tampa Bay who keeps getting these weird injuries and you just ask yourself, when is the other shoe going to drop? For this, it's not like Jeff Carter's out there getting cut all the time. So, I think when he comes back, they'll be even better than they are now. And so for me, what's nice about the Kings and with the playoff thing, I could definitely see them winning around because you have Jonathan Quick, not that great, right? He's a competent NHL goaltender, but his defensemen make it easier for him to play the game. And that's what helps him. Like they make him look good. Drew Doughty makes Jonathan Quick look better. Alec Martinez makes him look better. These are guys out there that, one of us could probably play defense behind them or play goal behind them.
Yeah. Don't forget Jake Muzzin.
I won't.
Isn't that guy, isn't he like the best defenseman on that team?
Like defensively speaking?
Just in general. I think I thought there was talks last year about how he's like better than Doughty. He's definitely more noticeable than Doughty when he plays. I don't know.
Huh?
I just thought that was interesting that you went Doughty Martinez, but no Muzzin there.
I didn't want to just start listing off the entire roster.
I know, but I would have gone Muzzin, Doughty at least.
That's allowed.
But I was like, I'm surprised that you went Martinez. You just got
Hurricanes.
What just happened?
5-2.
Well, there you go. Congratulations. Your team is still second last in their division.
Also, it was 5-1. And they're not second. Oh, okay, they are second last. They're not still second last. They've moved up to second last.
This time next week, when we're talking about this again and revealing what our wager is, they're going to be last again.
No, they won't. Unless they don't play this week, which seems unlikely. I haven't seen their schedule. Watch, they play like the Bruins and the Panthers or something like that. They play the Sabres on Saturday. Come on. Come on, Joel. And they play the Islanders. If they beat Thursday night, they play the Islanders.
The Islanders are better than them, so...
If they win that game, they move ahead of the Islanders.
Well...
We're currently in a playoff spot. Joel, and they play the Islanders Sunday. You win both those games, this is an entirely different Carolina Hurricanes season.
Yeah, but if you lose all three of those games, they're exactly who we think they are.
Yes, if they lose...
They are who we thought they were.
If they lose all three of these games, if they lose 2 to the Islanders, and then somehow lose to the Sabres, yes.
Playoffs?
Joel's just a walking sports meme at this point. I'm fine with that.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah, I like it. What else do you got for us there, Coach?
Talking about practice, man. Did you know...
Let's talk about practice.
I know. I do want to talk about this. I'm a little worried. How do you feel about Carey Price practicing?
That's not the practice I wanted to talk about, Joel.
What do you want to talk about?
Okay, fine. Let's start with Carey Price.
Who's the other one? You want to talk about Austin Matthews?
There was a very interesting Leafs practice this morning.
Roman Polak played forward. That happened a lot last year. I don't think people realize this.
Well,
Roman Polak actually played games at forward last year, let alone...
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, he won't. Or maybe it was the year before. He's not going to play a game at forward. Don't worry about that.
Is that what you brought him in for, to just play a terrible fourth-line role?
Roman Polak needs to just go away.
Well, you needed some warm bodies at practice this morning. So let's start with Carey Price. Let's start about something. He's back at practice.
Yep.
And I think the Canadiens would be foolish to ease him in, right? Like they've seen what happens when you rush Carey Price back from injury before. They've got to be taking it slow.
I think they are taking it slow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any rush, so. But this isn't... this is not the same injury that he missed the whole season with. Correct.
Yeah, this is not the same one. So
this is them not playing well, and so they're like, yeah, we'll just... But he'll be back this year. He's going to be back. He's practicing. I would expect within the week or so.
You expect him to be back within a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by December he'll be playing.
Okay. Now, let's turn to your Leafs. Now, last year, Leafs obviously made the playoffs, great season. And the one thing, even you said it at the time, this team wins, but they've had the greatest injury luck. No one got hurt last year, right? There was a few games, Marner missed some time, and other than that, you were pretty lucky. Anderson hurt himself in the preseason and missed some of the start of the year, right?
And he hurt himself in the playoffs, like just before the playoffs. He played hurt in that Cap series.
Okay. But for the most part,
yeah,
the Leafs got pretty lucky with injuries.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so right now, Austin Matthews, he's missed 3 games. It's the first games he's missed.
And we don't know why.
It's a mysterious upper body injury for Austin.
It's terrifying.
Now, William Nylander missed practice this morning. I get the flu. He's sick. Is that what's going on?
I don't even think they have the flu. I don't know who. They just said sick. They're not planning on him missing any games.
Okay, so he'll be there. Now here's the real question: the Leafs 3-0 without Austin Matthews in the lineup.
Yeah.
Do you need Austin Matthews?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. How did you feel about the team? Because obviously things turned around when you got AM34.
Yeah.
How did you feel the first time you seen in almost a year and a half a Leafs game without him?
Makes me feel better about next year. Because next year we're kind of I was kind of worried because we're going to lose JVR and we're going to lose Mr. Bozak. Those guys aren't going to be on the team next year.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of and Bozak has actually, last year he played a really good center. This year, not so much.
He's played center.
He has been in the center position.
Yeah.
He has taken face-offs.
Yeah, exactly. He's taken the draw. He's not winning as many as he probably should, but he's there.
And so Mr. William Nylander been playing a lot more center lately, especially with Austin Matthews out. I'm not too worried about that. This is our three, our top three line centers next year. Austin Matthews first line, William Nylander, Nazem Kadri. It's a pretty good top three.
It's pretty good. Can I also take back something I just said?
What?
Tyler Bozak is actually having a great year in the face-off dot. That's the only thing he's doing well.
He usually does that really well. I don't pay attention to those things as much, but unlike SportsCenter or Sportsnet, the play-by-play guys, they love face-off wins.
Face-off stats is their favorite stat.
Yeah, as soon as
it's almost like that's the only thing that matters to them.
Yeah, it's like I've actually been watching games where the Leafs have been up 3-0, and they're like, they better start winning faceoffs. They've scored 3 goals.
Here's how I know that faceoffs are relevant. The Avalanche were 2nd or 3rd in the league in faceoffs last year.
Yeah,
it matters what you do once you have the puck.
Yeah, so I'm feeling okay about next year, knowing that guys like Josh Levo, Kapanen. We may see a guy. I always forget how to say his name. It's either Johnson or Johansson or something like that. One of these guys comes up, plays left wing. We have enough wingers. Center is always going to be a problem, but with Nylander moving there, that'll be good. The thing I wanted to talk about though with practice is that no one knows what Austin Matthews is hurt with.
Or and from that, when he got hurt.
We don't know when he got hurt. We don't know what it is. We don't know how severe it was. And it's just shrouded in mystery. And that's also why I was wanting to talk about Carey Price, because this is what we know about Carey Price's injury. They're viewing it as day-to-day. It's a lower body injury. And it's not the same as the one it's not anything related to the lower body injury where he missed the whole season.
Yeah.
That's it. As a fan, how do you feel about not knowing anything about the injuries?
I think I'm fine with it. I'd obviously like to know. I'd rather know than not know. But for me, as long as they come back healthy, that's all that I want. I take it back. I want to know. I do want to know. So tell me. And part of why, at first I was I don't really care. It doesn't matter. But once they come back, I want to know. I don't want that lingering thought in my mind. Every time, he takes a knee-on-knee hit, I'm was it his knee before? And it's obviously they say upper body. So he gets, a hard check into the boards, or he slides, right? I think, that's how Connor McDavid got hurt 2 years ago. He goes down into the boards hard, and you're was it his shoulder? Did he separate his shoulder? Is he going to do it again? That lingering thought in my mind would bother me.
Yeah, it is. I don't like it. So I was just, instead of doing research before the show, I just pulled it up right now. The Leafs don't play until Thursday. So all the guys that missed practice today, not too worried about.
Wait, who else missed practice? Was there more?
Bozak had the veteran maintenance day he's needed to, like, he's old apparently, and he's not even that old. But that
I was gonna say he's as old as what? He's older than Kyle Turris and Ryan Johansson.
Yeah, so he
super old.
Yeah, he had the maintenance day or whatever. But we don't play until Thursday, so Nylander, he'll be fine. And apparently Matthews is supposed to practice Wednesday. We at least have an off day tomorrow. So, because again, we don't play till Thursday.
Well, that's nice.
So he'll be back. But I'm with you. Part of me wonders if, like, usually you hear a little bit about what's happened with a guy. Like, part of me wonders if it's kind of like, I don't know, if it's one of those injuries that the other teams can target in on a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. I'm worried that it's a concussion. That's been my concern.
That would be even more concerning because he played a game with this injury.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I don't, and we all know how well professional sports handle concussions.
Oh, the NFL with concussions this weekend was a disaster. The amount of quarterbacks who finished games and then they finished the game, they're like, "Hey, look, this guy's in the concussion protocol." How?
Yeah. Russell Wilson. You remember the Jonathan Quick concussion thing?
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson got the Jonathan Quick. Like, they pulled the tent over him, and as soon as the tent hit the floor, Wilson threw the tent over top of him and went back on the field. I was like, that doesn't seem legit.
Yeah.
So,
hey, he could tell there was a tent over him. He's clearly not that concussed.
Yeah. So, but, like, I don't get the impression. It's either, if it is a concussion, it's one that wasn't spotted on the ice. And it's one that I wouldn't have noticed. And I've pretty much watched every Leafs game. So I don't think it is, but it is a worry. Because, like, concussions ain't no joke, right? Like, they can mess with you forever.
Yeah, they come back pretty quick. We've seen that time after time. So hopefully, if it is a concussion, I'm glad that they're taking their time getting him back.
Yeah, because he hasn't even been on the ice. So, but I do think I think we should, as fans, get more information about injuries. I would be in favor of that. Like, I don't know. I don't understand the competitive edge that teams think they have by not telling people.
I get the reason with the competitive injury or like the competitiveness, but if everyone does it, then you're on the same page. Like, if you have to disclose things, but that gets to a point where it's like, what do you actually, like, how are you going to enforce that, right? Then you have to have independent doctors evaluating everyone who's hurt, and we know Uncle Gary ain't paying for that.
It's true, but yet we still, like, Goodell's no better than Bettman, and somehow we get more information on NFL injuries.
Yeah, but then we still have Bill Belichick pulling injury report shenanigans all season, and nothing ever changes.
Right, but but I would say that's the minority. You tend to know what guys are out with.
True. Yeah, like if it was more like the NFL, I'd be very okay with that. I don't think you'll see the NHL make that approach anytime soon.
Now we're just like dreaming up things that
just
would be wonderful. Dreams. Yeah, all the pipe dreams that Uncle Gary will never give us. Can we get an NHL owner to threaten lawsuits against Gary Bettman?
If only. Yeah, but that's backfiring. Now they just want to take his entire team away from him.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they'll be able to do that, though.
I think that would be very difficult. Like what the NBA did that with the old Clippers guy, right? That's the only instance I can think of that this is. And he was like, wasn't he racist?
Yeah, and he was really old, and I think he just didn't fight it because he got top dollar for the franchise. But, like, I got the impression that if he actually wanted to have fought that, he probably could have. Because, like, Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've watched too many crime shows, but like I don't think you can actually use like recorded. Like if someone records you without you knowing about it, in any movie and TV show I've ever seen, that can't be used against you.
Interesting. That's why whenever someone calls me, I inform them that this conversation may be recorded. That's also why I don't get many phone calls.
Nobody calls Carl because like, this is weird, man.
Never.
Don't record us.
Yeah, why are you recording me?
So, yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Anything else?
Do you want to go to some high sticking?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, before we get into high sticking, a fun fact coming for you, Joel.
Yeah.
You know this website called Patreon?
Yeah.
It's spelled Patreon, Patreon. We have a website on there, an account actually on this website. And if you subscribe, you can get extra stuff from us. Mm-hmm. So there's bonus things. If you support the show through Patreon, you get bonus things. Tonight, right after we're done here, we are going to be recording a Patreon episode. So if you're like, man, I love the Fourth Line, I want to support them, and I'd also like a little more. At the $3 a month mark, you get a monthly bonus episode, which comes with, we answer questions. So if you have questions, you have some thoughts, you want our thoughts on them. If you've got some silly questions, we'll answer those. We've got a lot of those tonight. We've got a lot going on over there. So head on over to Patreon. Thank you very much to Nick Hankins, our latest Patreon supporter. Thank you for your support, Nick.
Whoop.
We look forward to giving you an extra show this week. So thanks for everyone over there who supports us and everyone who plays high sticking. Thank you to those guys as well.
Yeah.
We are a quarter of the way through this round of high sticking. Kristen Meyer is leading ahead of Chad Milroy, Nick Sagan, and Ken Callenbach. So that is the top four. They are separated by 3 points. It is anyone's game. Unlike, I think at this point, Joel would probably eliminate most of the players from high staking contention because that's just the kind of strict contention rules that Joel has.
Yeah. So that's...
If you're not within 2 points of the lead right now, you might as well just pack it up and play for next round.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
I disagree with him. So do you want to let everyone know how this works?
Yeah, so we have this thing we call the Pavel Bures of the Week, which means they are our must-watch games of the night. Choose a player from each team who you think will score the game-winning goal. If it goes to a shootout, whoever scores the go-ahead goal in the shootout, it counts for that. You get some points. I don't know what the designations are.
3 points for the game winner, 2 for the first assist, 1 for the second assist.
There you go. So, for instance, on Tuesday night, if you were like, man, I really want to watch a Washington Capitals and Nashville Preds game, you're like, that sounds like fun. I'm going to choose TJ Oshie and Philip Forsberg. Boom.
Done.
We only do it on Twitter, though. You can only play on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because
you can tweet at us.
I guess if someone typed it all up and emailed it in, like just one for the week, would you accept that?
Absolutely. If you email it, if you DM it, if you Facebook it to us, if you put it on a postcard and send it to us.
But we don't want like an email every day.
Even if you do that, if you take time out of your day every single day to send us an email, sure, I'll take your points. It means that's actually easier for me. It means I don't have to write them all down and go check later.
Oh, there you go. Carl you can tell which of the two of us actually does the homework on this because I just assumed that would be more work. It's not. No. On Wednesday, you could choose between
the New York Rangers, who are suddenly red hot.
Yeah.
6 wins in a row facing the Chicago Blackhawks. Do you think the Rangers are going to win that one?
Probably. Blackhawks aren't so good this year.
All right. Well, see, so in that game, you could say I pick Patrick Kane and Rick Nash.
Yeah. Are we going to do that for every game?
Why not?
Well, then you're going to have to pick Claude Giroux or Patrick Laine on Thursday. That's where I'm going.
I'm surprised you didn't go with your Leafs.
All right. I don't want
Jets Flyers on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked that game. That's what I'm going with.
That's fine. Friday, we're going to have the Rangers again because no one wants to watch the Sabres versus the Red Wings. So you could pick Rick Nash versus the Blue Jackets, or is there anyone still on that team from that trade? There isn't, is there?
I don't think so.
So we'll go with Artemi Panarin. That's who I'd go with. And I wouldn't actually go with Rick Nash back-to-back. I'd go with Mika Zibanejad because it's fun to spell.
Okay. Can we go Toronto on Saturday?
Yes, I'll allow it.
Okay, Toronto Habs.
Which, little inside baseball here. The way that we track these games is I go on my Score app and I just highlight those games as like, give me alerts for this game. Carey Price listed as the expected goaltender.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. Sunday. Where do you want to go? Do you feel like LA Vegas? Showtime versus
a little top of the Pacific.
Yeah.
Especially after all this Kings talk, it makes sense to put them on here.
Yeah. Then are we picking a game Monday or no?
There's a lot of games Monday, so sure, let's do that. I personally would go with Anaheim San Jose.
Ew. They're all terrible. Yeah, do that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Anaheim San Jose. That's the Monday game.
There you go. Boom. Send it in. I think that's high sticking. That'll be good.
Yeah, those are our Pavel Bures. Those are the must-watch games of the week. That's what, if our teams are not playing, which I noticed on what day is it? Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday night. Yeah. So the Hurricanes play at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. The Avalanche play at 4 o'clock Mountain Time. My Calgary Stampeders have a playoff game at 2:30 in the afternoon. The Raptors have a game at 1:30 in the afternoon, and the Chargers have a game at 2. And there's the last NASCAR race of the season on Sunday. That's not the day I'm talking about. That's on Sunday. Oh, no, that is Sunday. Yeah. All of that happens on Sunday.
There you go.
You know where I'm going to be? Trying to watch 17 things.
All right.
Well.
Yeah, well.
Joel, last week, we told you about some of the new shows on the Alberta Podcast Network. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Of course you do. This week, let's tell you about some more. So, as we mentioned, there's a bunch of new shows being added to the network. Always new things happening there over at the Alberta Podcast Network. One that we want to let you know about is one called Future Chat. Last week we went to sci-fi. Let's stick in the science-y realm with Future Chat. It's a show about science and technology, looking at the big picture and debunking bad science. So if you're a science-y guy, I'm a science guy. I know Joel's less science-y than me.
That was putting it probably fairly lightly.
Right. So if you're a science guy, if you want to know more about science, head over. You can follow them on Twitter, _FutureChatFM. Definitely, if you're into science, a great place to go for some science and technology talk. If you want to follow us on Twitter to play high sticking, if you like to win things, I actually, Joel, speaking of winning things, sent out the very first ever round of pucks. They finally got around to doing that for the last 2 high sticking winners. Those are in the mail. So Brandon and Jonathan, those will be coming to you soon.
I don't know. I just got notice today that a package that I sent out got returned and I have to go pick it up tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
So I think someone that I sent, and I can't think of anything else that I sent that wasn't show related.
Do you remember who we could let them know? Was it Jeff?
I think it's Jeff. And so, and I think it happened, my guess it was a border thing. Because
probably, yeah.
So, but if it did happen, I will resend it immediately.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but it might not even be podcast related though. Well, but I can't think of anything else.
Jeff, if you did not get that, we're sorry. We blame Canada Post. It wouldn't be the first time that we've mailed something and it just got disappeared.
Yeah. But, this one, we'll see. I'll find out tomorrow. I'm going to go pick it up. And if it says Jeff on it, then I'm just going to put it right back in the mail.
You should probably, maybe look into it a little bit more. Maybe don't just like, if at first you don't succeed, do the exact same thing you did last time. Life lessons with the Fourth Line podcast. We are going to go do our Patreon episode, as we mentioned, so head over to our Patreon, check that out. That'll be coming out on Thursday. I know we're recording it tonight. We're going to let it stew a little bit. Well, maybe we should talk about some stews on there.
It ages like fine wine.
Or a stew.
Or a stew. All right.
So head over to our Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast, thefourthlinepodcast.com. Big shout out to Alex and Chase. A couple new writers on the website. They've got some articles about the Senators and the Oilers out there right now.
Boo. I'm booing the Senators, not the new writers. Okay. Just to make that very clear.
Yeah, they've got some great pieces out there. Head over there, check out all of the work from the fine folks who do work, and you can email us. It's all on our website. Go to our website. You can find everything, thefourthlinepodcast.com. It's all there for you. Joel, until next time.
Boom City.